Welcome to Alberta Impact. I'm your host, Bryce Lambert. Innovation is one of the number one topics of discussion, both around what is needed and how we execute it. We sat down with Cheryl Watson, Vice President of Innovate Edmonton, whose focus is to support our city's most driven tech sector, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Cheryl talks to us about how we need to help Alberta-based founders and their teams to bring their groundbreaking ideas to market. Check it out.
We recognize really that technology and this startup economy is building momentum and is truly leading in the evolution of our economy. And so we, as you very well know, have a number of strengths here that are very unique. Our strengths in artificial intelligence. We are an academic and talent powerhouse here in Edmonton. And so then you take that, you combine it with our Health City initiative, and then as well this serious and deliberate focus on the innovation ecosystem that the City of Edmonton is leaning into, saying that there does need to be a certain unique support environment for these emerging tech enterprises. And so with that mindset, we recently went to Collision in Toronto, one of North America's fastest growing tech conferences. We plan to be there again this year. Later on in March, we're going to South by Southwest.
Nice.
Let's see, we have in our own backyard, Accelerate AB is a conference that's coming here to Edmonton. That's coming in April. Inventures is here in June. And then Reboot in Banff later on in the year is focused on the gaming industry.
Really? That's pretty cool. Because there is, I mean, like we look at BioWare out of here, and I'm sure there's a lot more that I don't even know about.
There are a number.
That's really neat.
Yes.
So how are you guys taking that messaging out there? Like, I mean, we have these events, you're going to Toronto and whatnot. How are you taking the message from Edmonton to Toronto and saying, hey, like, you guys need to pay more attention over here. We've got these opportunities. How do you express that? Like, I mean, I know it's like, and we're in a world where we don't want to be sold. Nobody wants to be sold these days. But we still need to get the messaging out there. How do you guys work on getting that messaging out there?
Well, I want to add one thing to the way we are marketing ourselves is that we recognize that as you look at the world landscape, people that are making decisions about where to locate their company are making country decisions or province decisions, and it takes them a little while before they click down to the city, and so we recognize that. And so the way we've been representing ourselves is with the two major Alberta hubs together. And so Edmonton and Calgary have formed the Alberta Innovation Corridor Partnership. And so when we go to Collision, we actually bring both cities.
Wicked.
And the way that we demonstrate the strengths is we let the startup companies demonstrate for themselves.
Yeah.
And so last year when we went to Collision, we had Edmonton and Calgary together, and then we were surrounded by the tech startups that were born here, that are here to scale and stay.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily that we're marketing or we're storytelling, we're providing the stage for our tech startups to tell their own stories.
That's super awesome. We've talked about this, especially last year, how we really got to get the province together, and bringing those two hubs together is so important because we can't do this alone. Like we're a province and we got to stick together, whether that's in any industry, oil and gas, tech, health, whatever it is, right? So that's super cool what you guys are doing. I love to hear that. So when the message, and we were talking about this with a couple of other individuals we've had on the show about how we attract the province, the country, the province, and then down to the city. We've got Amazon coming in right away, which is like a super big feather in our cap as a province. But also with the the free trade and the trade agreements that our country works with, and how those kind of develop and push incentive, I guess, to come here to our province, our country. Do you guys work on a lot of stuff like that? Are you involved, your fingers in that?
In the incentives?
Yeah, like, so not necessarily incentives, but more about like the policies or anything like that with free trade.
We don't.
No.
And so when the government is making those decisions, we reach out to our community, the entrepreneurs that are living this day to day. We bring them together. We do roundtables.
Okay.
And so we allow the government to hear directly from the people that are experiencing it, that are living it. So we're the convener for those conversations.
Gotcha. Okay, that's super cool. So now you talked about some really great events that are coming up, like you said, like Adventures. What was one? Sorry, in April was.
Accelerate AB.
Accelerate AB. So that's a really cool one. What kind of things can people expect from Accelerate AB and Adventures, and where you guys are going to be situated with there?
So Accelerate AB is put on by the A100. And so those are local Albertans that sign up to be entrepreneurs for these emerging tech founders. And so Accelerate AB is really focused on mentorship. So really helping these companies get real examples about how to move forward. They hear from others that have tried, failed, succeeded, and gone before them. So that's what Accelerate AB is really focused on.
Awesome.
Inventures is put on by Alberta Innovates, and they're really focused on foreign direct investment. So really telling the important stories of Alberta and bringing in people from other countries and all around the world to invest here, to figure out there is a lot going on in Alberta. And so that's what Inventures focus is about.
Awesome. So from an EEDC standpoint, what kind of future are we looking at? You know, like when we look at Alberta, what is the next steps? I mean, there's a lot of conversation going on between environment, oil and gas, green energy and tech, of course, artificial intelligence and other technologies. What kind of future, this is more of a personal opinion I'm asking from you, but what kind of future are we looking at here for Alberta? Do we have like a specific focus? Do we have an end game?
So I'll speak from Innovate Edmonton perspective. Cool. And so my area that I work within is creating, collaborating with other community members to create the best possible environment in our city for tech-enabled startup and scale-up company growth. We believe that this entrepreneurial revolution that is happening around the world is our future economy. We are using tech to figure out new ways of solving problems, innovative solutions that we haven't thought of before. And so it's really that environment that we're focused on. And we're seeing around the world, you look at what happened in Israel, for example, a startup nation very well recognized for the recognition that it is these small and medium enterprises that are the job creators, that are the high growth companies that are going to really transform our economy. So within our space, we call it the future economy or the innovation economy that is all enabled by technology and different ways of solving problems. So that's what we see as the future.
Awesome. And we know, of course, the entrepreneurial mindset that's here in this province is ridiculously amazing. And the problem solving coming out of this province is ridiculously amazing. So it's super great to have organizations like yours to help us get to the world stage, present us, and in a positive light, of course. And so super great. Cheryl, thank you so much for coming on and telling us all about what you guys do and giving us a good look at what the future looks like for Alberta.
Thanks, Bryce.
You betcha.
What that's called?